Hello and welcome to Inside Tennis Football's practice facility. I'm Ryan Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We are with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And as we count down towards Tennessee's trip to Fayetteville, we are able to talk with defense coordinator Tim Banks, wide receiver coach Kelsey Pope, and cornerback Jermod McCoy. We'll start with you, Noah. What were your thoughts on what the coaches had to say?
Yeah, I thought that, Tim Banks was asked early on about, obviously the defensive line getting a lot of publicity, getting a lot of praise, and rightfully so for this Tennessee defense and the way they've started, but just where the back end is at for Tennessee. That was kind of coming into the season. I think we knew how good the defensive line was going to be. I think we knew now that it was back to health how good that linebacking core was going to be, but the question mark was still the secondary. And through 4 games they've been just as dominant, I think, for Tennessee. And he said that didn't come as a surprise to them. That was something they expected. They're at where they expect them to be at. Obviously they'll run into a challenge this week with Taylon Green, a guy that we've heard a lot about the last 2 days. Arkansas quarterback that can do multiple things with his arm, with his legs, eyes. Eye placement has been a big topic of discussion the last 2 days from players and now Tim Banks as well. But I think that was a good sign for Tennessee that this is what they expected out of a secondary that coming into the year was young, had some new faces, and certainly they've been a big part of what this defense has been able to do.
Yeah, and then on the offensive side, I think what Kelsey Pope kept saying was that, yeah, you're satisfied with what the receivers have done, but there's so much left on the table. There's so much more room to grow for this Tennessee receiving room, and that was just kind of echoed multiple times, and that was echoed about Dante Thornton, that was echoed about other guys as well, and then just kind of the room as a whole is like, yeah, you're satisfied. They've played well up to this point. You've had better games than others, but you kind of give them a passing grade, but they know there's a lot more to accomplish. Also talked Chaz Nimrod returning to Arkansas, grew up just like half an hour away from Fayetteville, so what's that going to be like for him? And Kelsey Pope talked about how that's something that you kind of have to be mature about. You kind of have to just work with your preparation and then kind of let things play out, because if you try to maybe do too much in an attempt to kind of make a big statement in a return with all your family and friends in attendance, then things might not go as planned. And then last guy, Ricky Gibson, the lone player to speak with the media today, he just kind of talked about his size and that he's always felt like he's belonged. One, that he's got a good amount of size. Tim Banks talked about that, where that's something that kind of surprised him when he got to campus as a transfer out of Oregon State, is that he had size that I didn't necessarily think he had. And then obviously playing receiver as well was something that kind of helps with the ball skills, but he comes in with that size. He was overlooked out of high school. I think Oregon State was one of his only FBS offers or Power 4 offers, and he's always felt like he belonged, though. There was never a time where he had to second guess himself. He knew he belonged at an SEC level out of high school and that he was overlooked. I believe he was a 2-star on Rivals.com out of White House, Texas, before going to Oregon State for his freshman season, where he played really well and obviously now lands here. But also talked about Jalen Ramsey, cornerback who I believe is with the Dolphins right now, but from Nashville. And so that's a guy who remodels his game after. That's someone that he thinks is kind of the best cornerback in the NFL and someone that he wants to play like, and you can kind of see that in his coverage, where he's not giving guys a lot of space, and if they do target him, he's quickly there to either break it up or lay a big hit and try to jar that ball loose before anyone can come up with a catch. But short press conference today, but some more insight on what Tennessee is planning or preparing to do against Arkansas this weekend. It'll be a matchup for Arkansas where they're looking for their first top 5 win at home since 1999, when they hosted the Vols the year after the stumble and fumble in the Tennessee national title, where Tennessee was ranked number 3 in that matchup. So a lot on the line for both sides as Tennessee looks to stay undefeated, looks to stay kind of firmly in that playoff picture, and SEC contender, and Arkansas tries to maybe right the ship a little bit with 2 losses already. If you want to stay up to date on everything you need to know, make sure you head over to VolReport.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We just posted this morning the opponent preview, where I talked with Mason Cho over at hogbeat.com, Arkansas site on the Rivals Network, and he gave the rundown from the Arkansas perspective, so make sure you go check that out. And then written content for everything you need over at VolReport.com. Links to everything you need is in the description. Thank you for watching.